Hey, this is Alex Becker, CEO of Hyros again. If you're not in the know, what I do in these videos is I'm ethically bribing you to do business with Hyros by just telling you everything that I've learned about running ads and scaling businesses. Look, being the CEO of a tracking company gives me a lot of advantages to know what's working in advertising right now. And more importantly, I've grown multiple businesses to 7 and even 8 figures using paid traffic. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you the most essential things that I know. One of these things is these 3 micro optimizations I'm going to tell you in this video. These little no-effort things allowed me to drop the cost per acquisition on my customers by 30% without changing a single ad, without changing a single landing page, without changing any of my targeting. The product, everything stayed the same. I think you get it. I didn't have to do anything except apply these 3 things right here. And if you apply this to your business, I would reasonably say you're going to see a 10% to even 20, maybe even 30% drop in how much it costs you to acquire a customer. These are that damn powerful. And before we get into it, if you want to actually track these differences and make sure you're able to spot the ads that are actually making you money and turn off the ads that are actually losing you money, you should go below, hit the purple button. It'll schedule a call with us, and we'll show you exactly how to track your ads the right way. Because, well, I mean, if you're not tracking your ads the right way, there is a 30 to 40% loss in attribution that we see with every single client that comes in the Hyros, which causes you to kill your winning ads and causes you to invest money in bad ads. That's some bad juju. You don't want to run a business like that. It's expensive. That being said, if you actually want help growing your business with ads, you want to see how I grew a single funnel past 8 figures on AdWords, click the green button below. It's going to take you to a train that shows you the exact ads, the exact funnel, the exact copywriting scripts, even the targeting I use to grow one of my businesses past 8 figures. And it even blueprints it all for you. That being said, let's hop into these 3 micro optimizations so I can show you to use them, because these things takes 10 seconds to apply. And it's probably going to make you an extra 10% of your business this year. Let me show you. Okay, guys, so we're going to be looking at 2 of my best converting landing pages. And I'm just going to give you a bonus tip as it starts off. These landing pages that you're looking at when it comes to opt-ins, it depends if you're doing sales pages. It's probably going to look a little bit different. These 2 pages right here, these 2 designs are the best opt-in designs that I've ever used across all my years. I've tried every single type of opt-in, every type of design possible. And so the first thing I want to tell you as we get going into this is that ugly always converts best. It very, very rarely gets out-converted by something that's pretty. I encourage you to go test this. I encourage you to go just try something different. It won't work as well 90% of the time. If I had 10 bucks, I'd bet on the clean page every single time. And the reason for this is that when you send people to a landing page, what you need to remember is that they are just browsing. There is absolutely no reason for them to stick around. There is absolutely no reason for them to check out their business. Their interest level is at an all-time low. In fact, they probably are regretting clicking already. And it's extremely important that you catch them with your headline and speak as clearly as possible. If you are using a super pretty, super fancy looking landing page, it'd be like a person walks into your store and there's like fireworks going off, there's like all sorts of stuff going on, there's teddy bears from Build-A-Bear running around the store, like throwing rocks at them. It's completely overwhelming. And then you're in the back of the store saying, hey, we sell pants. And they're not gonna, if they're looking for pants, they might not hear that. And they're gonna get overwhelmed, they're gonna be like, this is odd, and they're just gonna go somewhere else. That's a little bit of an overstatement, but I wanted to use hyperbole to express that to you. Because it's like people are walking around the mall and they walk in and you need to have exactly what they're looking for right there if you want to have the maximum conversion rates. In fact, if they're looking for pants and they walk into your store, you just want to have a completely empty store with a pair of pants right there that they like. So that's the first thing I'm going to tell you. Now, the next thing I'm going to tell you is also a tip that increased my sales by, it made or break my funnel. So I'm just going to tell you this right here. And it's kind of hard to explain, but as you notice, whenever we get a person to opt in for anything, or we get a person to go through any of our sales pages or start the checkout process, the thing that most people forget is their email delivery. But let me explain this to you. If you're running a webinar, you're running an opt-in funnel, you're even running a funnel where you collect people's emails after they check out, the number one way to increase your business without doing anything special is to get your email off of autoresponders and get it on a dedicated IP and warm it up the right way. Now, what does this mean? Well, first off, I would just start investigating being on your own dedicated IP address. And you want to use a fresh domain name. You want to use a fresh domain that you're linking to, and you want to start using new content. on a dedicated IP, and you want to limit it to only your funnel emails, aka the funnel emails that fire from maybe your webinar funnel, your opt-in funnel, or your abandoned cart or follow-up funnels. Why do you want to do this? Because when you do this, these have extremely high open rates. And what it does is when you have your own IP address, what happens is Google, Yahoo, Hotmail, they all see this IP address coming in. They also see your domain name that's being sent from. And when you have super high open rates, what happens is it goes, these guys are good. These guys are good. What happens when you're on an autoresponder is you're sharing IP addresses with people that are not mailing the right way. And what I mean by mailing the right way is if you're sending out big blast, you're mailing your entire list all at once, you're not mailing the right way. You're not. That's what everybody does. No one really mails the right way. This is why in my funnels, I have 50, 60% open rates. I have open rates close to Messenger, and most people can't break 10%. It's because they're not mailing the right way. But the thing is you need to understand is that these emails completely control how well your funnel works. For example, if you have a webinar funnel and your attendance email, your join now email is getting a 15% open rate, your attendance rates are going to be miserable, and your attendance rates control how well your webinar does. If you have an opt-in funnel, how well that funnel does, maybe it's a 4-day launch funnel, maybe it's just an opt-in where they get sold stuff over time. How well it does is determined by the open rates. Getting a 15% increase in open rates means a 15% increase in your business. Same thing with abandoned carts, same thing with everything else. And so what you need to do is you need to focus on having a dedicated IP and a new domain that you use, not the domain you've been blasting from if you've been doing it, as your mailing standard. And you need to reserve this only for your funnels, not your blast, not your mass mails to your list. Because if you have a webinar and you have a 15% delivery rate on that first email that goes out, but you increase it to 45%, 60%, your webinar is going to almost triple in sales. It's going to be huge for you. This is one of the easiest micro optimizations you can make, and this is something that I do with all my businesses in the funnels. If you can see, most of my businesses, for example, I have a sales call funnel right here that we sell Hyros through, and it lives and dies by that second email because a lot of people don't finish the first video right here. They'll opt in, they'll go through, and what they'll do is they'll go through my funnel right here. All right, so I'm going to do something really weird in this video. And they won't watch into this video, and they won't have time to fill out the form. So what then happens is they don't go through, but I have a bunch of follow-up emails and other training that I win them back with. And that's where almost 50% of my calls come from. But the business wouldn't work as well if I didn't do this stuff. Now, the second tip I'm going to give you is experiment with shorter content. This webinar right here does a 4x ROI for me, cash, before recurring payments and anything even comes in. That's a great freeze frame with me as well. I'm going to give you more than 3 tips right here. I'm going to tell you a really ninja one right here. Most people on their call funnels have a 45-minute presentation. On most people's webinars, they have almost like a 3-hour presentation. Now, I've done both of those and made them work, but what I've found is reducing a webinar almost to 45 minutes if we're just selling on the webinar, or reducing a call sales video to 20 minutes has worked like crazy for me. Also, having the link to call right on the page with testimonials has worked really well for me B2B. It doesn't work B2C. Okay, but this has worked really well for me. Now, I'm going to give you another tip that absolutely crushes it when you start running ads. Get your pages on HTML. After split testing and finding the perfect page design, the perfect headline, get this on HTML now. I love ClickFunnels. It's great. I start all my funnels on ClickFunnels, but as soon as I have the page optimized by text and what's on it, I get this stuff off of ClickFunnels and I put it in the HTML. And you want to just have a plain HTML page because it loads so much faster. And that's going to increase your mobile opt-in conversion rates, your mobile sales rates significantly. It increased mine. It dropped my CPL. I was paying about $7 a lead. It dropped it to about $5 a lead for me. Now, the final tip I'm going to give you with your opt-ins, you can see this is all just simple stuff. We're not having to change any bare bones of the funnel, not have to change anything. The other tip I can give you is design your opt-ins for mobile. And so what I'm doing right here is whenever I have opt-ins, you need to go and look at your opt-ins and look at how they're used on a mobile phone. This right here works very well on a mobile phone. This opt-in right here works the same if I'm on mobile, if I'm on anything else. And it's very sleek, and it just goes through like this. So the user doesn't have to go and select through a bunch of menus and all sorts of other things like that. If you look at, for example, the standard EverWebinar opt-in, it's an absolute disaster. Yet everybody's using it. It makes no sense. When you have people opting in, you only want to have one form at one time, and you want to keep the form as simple as possible. I like my forms like this, where it's just clean, bam, name, email. And you want it to be as plain Jane as possible. Don't have anything extra, don't have any images or anything else like that on the page. That right there also significantly dropped my CPL. This form right here on my webinars super dropped my CPL. I actually copied this from Sam Ovens' page, so I'll cite my sources. But this right here super dropped my CPL. Okay, and you can see how smooth that is compared to other opt-ins out there where you have something janky popping around or something like that. On mobile phones, they find every reason to glitch, so you want to have your forms be as simple as possible. And one other final bonus tip I'll give you to increase your opt-in rates, throw in a type of training or checklist. Find something that people are really interested in, turn it into a template or checklist, and throw that in there on top of whatever you're offering in your sales call funnel, your opt-in funnels, or your webinar funnels. These simple things right here will easily drop your CPL, but I would say 20 to 30%. It did so for me. It actually did significantly more once we started getting the email and everything inside. And so this is just what I would suggest. So guys, this is the training day. I just want to show you these things because just applying these will really make a huge difference in your business. Now, to wrap this up, one of the biggest optimization hacks that you can also use is tracking correctly. Bidding on the right places and spending zero money on the wrong places is one of the easiest ways to make more money from your ads that there is. If you want help doing that, click the purple link below and we'll take you to a training that shows you exactly how to do that. If you actually want help setting up these optimizations in your business, you want to see how I use these optimizations that I use to actually scale businesses from 7 figures to even 8 figures, click the green button and we'll show you exactly how I buy ads and how I apply these optimizations and step by step exactly the targeting, the copywriting, everything behind how I scaled one of my businesses past 8 figures using these exact landing pages. And then finally, if you want to network with other entrepreneurs that are spending significant amounts in ad spend, join our Facebook group below. As I film this video, there is close to $10 million a month in ad spend just in that group. And it doesn't have any beginners. It's not beginner focused. It's not for people that are lost who are trying to lead the lost like a lot of other groups. It is just pure ad spenders. We qualify every single person that comes in. So if you spend ad spend, head over there. So that being said, I'm going to be sending you another training here in a few days that's going to show you some of my hyper ROI YouTube tactics. It's going to show you some of the most low-lying fruit on YouTube ads right now, and it's going to show you how to pick those up. You can easily generate a 3x, 5x ROI off of $100, $200 a day using this and build a very full-time business or scale your business or add another revenue stream to your business just by using these hyper ROI tactics. They're super easy to use. Nobody really spots these things. And what we're doing is we find really low-hanging fruit on YouTube and we just place ads on these where nobody else is placing them, and they're so targeted that it just works like gangbusters. So I'm going to show you those hyper optimizations in our next training video. This has been Becker, CEO of Hyros. I'll see you then.